Hey, what is up everybody? Platform Disciple here, and this week is finals week for me. So, yeah, I really don't even think I should be recording a video, but I super duper do not want to sit down and accept the fact that it's finals week. So all I want to do is anything but study and write my papers and stuff. So here we are, making a video for the first time in a long time due to the fact that I've had to worry about school for, well, unfortunately a long time, but we're almost there. We're almost done with the year. Hopefully I'll be putting out more videos once, the year's over. But anyways, we're here to talk about the Flamethrower versus the Degreaser because as you might know, the Degreaser is more or less used by default by, I would say, a large portion of the TF2 players playing Pyro, and the reason is, of course, that being able to switch between your weapons really fast gives you a huge combat advantage over, other Pyros and other classes. Anyways, the thing is, though, I don't think a lot of people are putting the time into thinking of the benefits that the stock Flamethrower has, because it does have a niche that it fits. So, of course, let's start by comparing the stock Flamethrower to the Floge and the Backburner. The stock Flamethrower, the obvious upgrade to those is that it can air blast, or at least it can air blast more frequently with, less cost than the Backburner. And air blast is a huge part of playing Pyro because it allows you to actually fight the longer range classes effectively, as well as protect your own team from taking damage. Anyways, the Degreaser, of course, can do this, and you can even switch between your melee and your secondary with the Degreaser very quickly for combos with the flare gun, the extinguisher, the power jack, etc., etc. So yeah, the Degreaser feels like the right option a lot of times, but I'm going to point out that there are huge number differences in the damage between the two. So I'm bringing up a couple windows here where I have the numbers stored. I did some math. So at close range to far range, respectively, the Degreaser does 145-ish damage per second, including afterburn, to 88 point... I guess it's closer to 89, so 89-ish damage per second, whereas the stock Flamethrower does 163-ish to 100-ish damage per second. So to put that out there, you're looking at a 12 to 15 damage increase when you switch over to the stock Flamethrower from the Degreaser. Of course, the drawback is that you won't be able to combo with your flare gun and your power jack or whatever melee weapon you prefer to use as effectively. So, the best weapons to use with the Flamethrower, as opposed to the Degreaser, are ones that you're not going to want to be constantly switching between. You're going to want to be using ones that are a little more situational, whereas you want the Flamethrower to be your main damage per second. Whereas for the Degreaser, your main damage is probably coming from the flare gun with the 90 damage instant nuke to their health. Alright, so the weapons I recommend using with the stock Flamethrower are probably the reserve shooter, which I think is great because it actually gives you a little of that, weapon switching potential that the Degreaser has, and the stock shotgun, or maybe if you're feeling a little frisky, you could go for the flare shot or the detonator for some gimmicks, maybe tossing people around a little with the flare shot, or jumping with the detonator. And as for your melee, because you're using the Flamethrower for your main damage source and it does a ton of damage at close range, for your melee you can sacrifice some damage and get some more utility. The Homewrecker is great. The Neon Annihilator, I'm not a fan of it, but if you're into the Pyro Shark action, go for it. And of course, There's also the back scratcher, which does do increased damage, but when I'm using it largely when my team doesn't have a medic on it, and I need some extra health from the health packs. Alright, anyways, hope you found this informative, and I hope you go out and give the stock Flamethrower a second chance. Drop your flogs, drop your degreasers, drop your backburners. Get out there and do some classic M1 action. Just some air blasts and some torching people down. I will see you all when I'm done with finals. Take care, everybody. No stress. I'll see you later.